All right. Best is I'm going to get for you guys as quick as I can keep this framemanship going here. But yeah, kick back, grab a drink, smoke, whatever you do. We're going to have a little chat. A little fireside chat. It's funny because there's only a silhouette. All right, so let's kick things off quick. Fireside chat. Yours truly of the 21st American. I'm sorry. I butchered the whole intro. 21st Amendment Brewing Company. Fireside Chat is a winter ale brewed with many holiday spices, including clove, allspice. I didn't mean to take that out so quickly. Nutmeg. Excuse me. What a terrible way to vlog here. But yeah, let's go ahead and lose that so we can proceed. Yeah, not too much on the can as far as vocally describing. Winter ale with spices and cocoa nibs, of course. Fireside chat, as far as the overall, I'm just going to go ahead and give it. I've already cracked these open and have at least, it's my third, I think. Overall, I would say, taking a swig as we do it, I would say 7.5. Right, so I think it's because I've never actually rated via decimal point, but 7.5 is 3/4 of the way, which means I haven't quite made an actual. It's good based off of, I would like a little bit more holiday spices. As far as a fireside chat goes, with just it being an all-around comfort beer next to the fire and just having a good, a really flavorful little, not spice as in peppery, of course, but the herbs and spices like the clove and the nutmeg are certainly abundant. One sip, everybody knows the rules. A good bite around maybe 65, right? With some good flavor, which kind of makes it feel a little bit more robust than a typical maybe 80 or 90. It kind of boosts it up to maybe what may feel like an 80 or 90 IBU, but that's only because it's so much flavor. But yeah, really good. I like this beer. I'm surprised I haven't polished off the whole 6-packer that I decided to buy due to so many new and interesting, Dad, he used the word interesting, yeah. New, provocative, and let's use the term verbose. This won't be a very, I mean, that's why it took so long, because I didn't really combine the two qualities, traits, attributes, right? So verbose being outspoken and beautifully obnoxious, gloriously outrageous, in a very provocative and loving way. So lovable. Such a character can only portray a verbose and happy and accepting attitude. But here I am with you with the Fireside Chat convo. Definitely definitely a good idea to double time this video, as it's going to be very long-winded and verbose. So if you speed it up, it'll just sound funnier. I've got a few spare logs with me. So to get straight into it, I am distraught, discomforted, displeased, heart dropping sensation. I have been crying for the better half of an hour today. Wow, did you see that one go? And we're going to get straight into that in a moment here, but we're going to build it up. We're going to build up the drama. Oh, there goes the lighter. Good thing we didn't lose that. We don't want to lose the ability to produce flame. So I've got two different types of logs here. A set that, there it goes. I didn't touch a thing. All right, I got to grab my gloves for this one. That was pretty big. Got a few logs over here. So we'll get back to that topic in a moment. But wow, hang on a moment, folks. That is not just the camera angle. So, yeah, a lot's been going on, and I'm going to catch you guys up. I am not sober by any stretch of the imagination, obviously. However, I think the overall outcome may be a bit, wow. The ending thereof of, wow, whew, of some habits. Yeah, it might just be that time. And we're going to get into the reasonings as to why it may just be that time to drop a few habits and change things up a bit. I know I'm under the influence, and this is going to mark quite a pinnacle if I can produce or maximize and actually, follow through, so to speak, upon that which I'm about to be speaking. But it's not if I don't, it's when. It's just, it's so funny. I prayed for this. I did last night, and it's obviously a hot topic, so I'm going to start with it pretty quick. I have been I've been getting way more involved spiritually as of recently. I know I haven't been making many videos. I made one over the course of, wow, this thing's just dropping. Wow, there it goes. It's not that bad. Yeah. Too bad you guys didn't get to see like a gorgeous, this thing was hopping not all day. I had a slight abrupt pause in the fire. And I know we're going to go on so many tangents that you guys just won't be able to keep up. That's kind of the purpose as far as this video goes. In this state of mind, I cannot succeed on my own. I can't do this. And I've come to the conclusion that I just am not capable of managing this way of life. The failure that I have procured today, or at least the preceding decisions that made me come to an abrupt halt in what goals I may have set for myself, has definitely taken me off guard. So we're going to get into this. Don't worry. But essentially, it's a very big moment in my life, and I want to make sure that I am at least coming. I know it's just going to be ironic. That's the thing. It's going to be so ironic because I am under the influence at the moment, right? And that's just so funny because I'm living my best life, and normally you wouldn't hear me say the same because over the many years of just poor addictions and bad life choices and what have you. I mean, common things that we probably all are susceptible to. I'm coming to the conclusion that it's probably a good time for change, and I needed to drop some of these habits. I've done this before, and I've tried for a certain period of time, but life, smacked me upside the head with a big time welcome back to reality moment, and multiple moments, and I reverted back to old ways, just like many of us. I'm no different. I really am not. I'm not too different than the common person. It's funny because I am usually quoted as someone unique, special, right? But I'd like to think that I have certain problems, but so does everybody else. My problems are my own, but everybody else's problems are their own, and I'm not going to step on anyone's toes while walking through this life and make enemies out of small interactions that could easily be avoided with, a positive attitude. How about that one? Just to circle about, But yeah, this boisterous, verbose attitude of mine happens to be a part of my downfall. And I've had to come to the recollection that this personality or this persona that I've put on, and this is, when we talk about under the influence, it's a really touchy subject because personally, as a user of any substance, guys, I'm talking even to the level of caffeine. Caffeine has a half cycle just like any other drug on the market or off the market. It's a half cycle where you end up crashing. Now, there's different types of caffeine, blah, blah, blah. Coffee is our main focus as far as this legal addictive chemical drug that produces obviously plenty of good positive effects. But God forbid you take it away. Holy cow, you might lose a nation. Quote me on that one, mother F's. You might lose an entire group, group of people, just, all right, I'm going off on a stupid one. But essentially, we all have our own vices. It doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to ingest it. You don't have to use, there's multiple senses that our body takes in. Drink, smoke, and what is it? Sight are just the basics, but then you get into I love to go into this one, hot showers, and the obvious things like gambling, or I won't go off the deep end this time. I don't want to lose you guys too quickly. But addictions are addictions, and there are many. I can go way off the easy one, right? Like a hot shower. People are going to hate that one, right? But it's an easy one for me to justify. Like your phone, electricity, right? These are real time useful benefits that, in our generation, at least in my area, right? So United States, right? There's very little chance. What population isn't using electricity? My goodness. The Amish are still flourishing, but they are. Some of them are, absolutely. Some form of electricity. I'm choosing not to at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and go off on a different rant and figure out where we got to go and circle back somehow. But Yeah. I'm actually gonna take one step back here. This fire is nice and toasty. I haven't even lit the smoke yet. There won't be much of a a complete circle, like a real nice message, right? Wiz is so dumb that he cannot produce a little bit of cherry at the end of his videos, because I am. Yep. I'm definitely not in the right mind frame. I have made peace with my gods and my family and myself, I suppose. No, not myself. Not myself. Yeah, I've made peace with everything else but me, right? So whether it be me and soul, just the soul and God, the soul in the afterlife, the soul and nothing else. I already said that one, just the soul. But yeah, the I, when I say I, I want to be careful how I obviously deliver my message and use certain terms. God forbid it bites me in the ass later on. Of course it will, but you just gotta. I mean, this is live footage of absolutely nothing. I'm talking to myself right now. I've said this in many videos before. This is absolutely redundant and rhetorical form of language and speech. It's not real. So when I speak, most of the language should come off as difficult as it is to interpret the freaking Bible, right? It's that simple. Now, I don't mean to compare it so heavily, but it's just a personal, I suppose. Personal matter, seeing as, man o' day, have we really taken a turn? Have I really taken a turn spiritually and increased my foundation with the Lord or God or spirit? Nah, not even spirit, because that kind of is a different subject. I do, just for the record, I do think there's a creator, something that created me. So this is where, when I have the conversation about heaven, I want to take a bigger turn. So if I go into heaven and realize we are all gods, this is just where my mind ends up going to question. So it's not like I'm trying to prove anything, but I've mentioned before that heaven to me is not the end all be all, right? There's not, just because there's no time space matter does not mean it's the end, right? I just don't think it's the end of the soul that God created, which I still do believe is higher than me, for my soul, right? I don't think that's the end. However, when you think of it as like, oh, hey, you just died and realized that you have way more power than you've ever been able to fathom, and you just missed out, and you have another chance, and you can utilize this godly power to your advantage and create blah 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 your own universe. Let's go there, folks. I'm not even sure where this is going to go. It really doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for me to talk about this. But when I consider the power of God, or the creation of earth and the humans and life itself, I have to step back and consider all possibilities. Because why? I hate why. I love why, but it's only going to leave a question anyway. But it's when you have, why put it in the brain? Why put a specific thought, any sort of possibility in the brain if it wasn't actually possible? So when it comes to the different variations of how the universe was created, or where humans came from, or Bible interpretation, this blah blah blah, it's like, why not? I know this is an actual religion where you kind of believe in all like religions, agnostic, or something. I don't mean to point out a specific name, but a belief that every single interpretation of life, everyone's viewpoint, is in my mind frame a piece of the puzzle, which, by the way, is the song of the night, played and sung by the group known as Red, R-E-D, right? I hope that's right. And the song title, Pieces. Oh, absolutely profound. I've been listening to that one for years, apparently, when it first made an intro into my life during my Buckeye Trail walks. What a life savior song. I incorporated it with God at times, you know. I want to rattle off some of the lyrics, but quite honestly, you need to search those up and just realize it's a good interpretation of staying connected to something other than yourself, right? You can't do this. I can't do this on my own. I need someone else to pick the pieces back up and put them together, almost like a Humpty Dumpty puzzle. I'm just an egg falling off a wall, right? And that's a stupid analogy. What's the worst analogy you can come up with? Humpty Dumpty. But shoot, I've come to the realization that I've absolutely just effed up. I'm so stupid. I'm so careless. I'm just off, and I've messed up in the past 8 months or 4 months, really. And we're gonna still get into this really quick. Not so quick, but my goodness, there's no end in sight, folks. I'm probably gonna sleep this one outside tonight. I haven't hooked up my hammock, which means I haven't tied knots at night in the dark in probably a month. I know I'll be able to do it. It's fine. I've gathered up maybe two or three solid knots that I can rely on to set up my tarps and my hammocks. Knots, simple knots that I need, right? But I'm going to sleep this one outside and see where it takes me. The big news is pretty simple. I've been after I don't want to say dream of mine, but I've been after a lifestyle, I've been after a vision of mine for quite some time, and I've actually done pretty darn well of attaining that vision. I'm living right where I need to be. I'm doing what I want to do, and living with who I want to live with. In a way, I'm surrounded in a way with who I want to be surrounded by. Right? I'm surrounding myself, or at least I have been, bringing up the church aspect, because that's been a big one. It really has been. I did get reacquainted with a church, or at least the local church area, which means I've gotten in contact with what I've always considered to be positive attitudes. If you develop a relationship at the church setting, at a religious setting, 99,000 times out of 99,001, it's going to be a positive. It's going to be a positive attitude. It's going to be a good feeling. From what I've experienced, it's not always great. It's not like you don't walk into a church and come with struggles and whatnot. But the company you can always trust upon when you're in a religious area, right? So I put myself in that predicament a ways back. I guess we're just going to continue with the story. Most of you have probably followed, or at least during my videos of King's Initiation and my sobriety days. I spent a good I know it's not long, folks, but we're just getting started. I took 4 months off and finally gathered myself as far as what I wanted to do and what needs to be done. I put myself in an area that allowed me to reacquaint myself with my values and my standings and how I carry myself, so to speak. That's what I'm doing out here. That's why I'm, living the way I'm living. And I can't wait to post this one. It's been so long. But that one's going to be rough. Whoa. All right, we're going to have to pause for a second. You see that? Yeah, you definitely see that one. This is what we can't have happen when we do this. This is why we have the big old things. I'm just going to toss this back in. And quickly disperse. So it's not hard. I know it's a flame and blah, blah, blah. It's hot. But understand that, as if, ooh, shit, the little ass got me on the side. I know I've played with fire enough to where I know how much I can handle. But quite honestly, it's not too bad. I don't like the fact that I have all these pine needles around, but yeah. Good reminder that you gotta put your cover on when you're not around, of course. Not gonna be too big of a problem when you're sitting right next to it. So yeah, story time. Jeez, unbelievable. So, 4 months into the sober life, I reintroduced myself into the church community and quickly realized that there is a side of me that is is in pain, right? It's hurting, right? There's a part of me when I get involved with certain groups, it is certain people, and I've realized that it's not just anybody. I can walk into certain settings, let's just say a bar, and under whatever I feel useful at the time, I could be under the influence in certain settings and get away with it, versus in a different place, obviously like a church setting, I would not feel comfortable. I just don't feel comfortable being under the influence or intoxicated. I actually love going to the church in a fasted state, for sure, 100%, and that's all I would prefer to do. Like at my pinnacle, I don't even want to enter a church unless I've had my cold shower, my exercise, I'm sober and I'm doing this and that and everything's perfect. I don't want to enter the church until that happens, Of course, I can pray and be with God before anything happens, but it's like, yeah, at the church level, I actually don't even want to enter the church until until I have cleansed myself as best as I know. So it can get difficult at times when it comes to at least sticking to your morals, right? Being virtuous, in a certain maybe setting or environment. But yeah, I know there's plenty out there that just don't really care of this standpoint, and this is kind of where our religious aspect tends to take a twist or toll, right? There's a reason why I would absolutely not want to be in a certain mind frame / intoxicated in the holy place, right? Temple, church, God, right? There's a reason for that. Some people just don't grasp, I don't want to say grasp, but care to agree. Just don't agree. Plain and simple. Anyway, yeah. So, beer's out. We're about to crack another one. Whew. Hold on. I'm going to add logs. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm not even going to have you hold on. I am going to... I'm not able to dual wield, so you're not going to be able to hear me talk about anything crazy, but watch this happen. Whoa. Whoa. All right, I'm just really stirring I'm hoping something lands on something to where it's like an effective. I did clean this out before I did this, so everything I stir up is all fresh. Oh. Stir this up much more, I'm going to lose my heat. I know that's kind of a joke, but my logs are kind of wet. Wow. What I'm looking for is optimal heat dispersion. actually getting there. That was luck. That's kind of precision. I would love for this little piece to break. Look at how thin it is. There's just about as good as you can get. All right, so we're gonna add a couple big uns. Do 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 do. Woof! Woo! Do 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 do. And what we're gonna do is rebuild exactly what we started with. That was horrendous, by the way. So we're not gonna have a big fire for a moment. If I can manage it, get some small ones real quick. Let me take a second because I don't have much light and I do have to chop. So bear with me. I'm actually somewhat worried. I'm gonna bring it over here, believe it or not. Really? Do one of those. It's just gonna start burning in a minute. Or a second. So that'll probably burn up pretty quick. This is the wood that I sawed down. I have two different types of wood, as I mentioned. This is a tree that I just sawed down. It's a cherry tree, and it's, I don't even know what to say about it. It's better than the leftover logs. So there were a few logs. It's the other pile. I have a good, when I say trailer, I mean like 3x4. Yeah, for real. I found it on the side of the road. Y'all haven't seen it. Y'all need to check it out. But for sure, found a tiny little barrel I could move by hand. It's bigger than a wheelbarrow, but way harder to move because it has no wheels, of course. Someone, for some reason, didn't want it. That's terrible. This is terrible wood. Man, it's just terrible. So yeah, this is actually the whatchamacallit that I'm tapping into. This is the cherry, and yeah, it was dying after so many feet, right? I got maybe 100 feet of logs that got to maybe, oh, not big at all. I'm talking very, very small log. But now there's a good 20 feet left, maybe 30, 20 feet. That is probably not good. So I got acquainted with the church, and I have definitely mentioned in other videos that I just felt terrible. Just wasn't good. Shit happens. Shit happens and live on. But it was very hard for me to get acclimated to a positive energy group of people. It's so long, and I've been going to church. I had actually gotten reacquainted with my original church, which is surprising that I didn't cave in when I started doing that. It's actually really surprising. But I went to my original church, my home church, when I got off and got sober. But and I was doing well. And then I found a new group, and then it just hit me. Something hit me, some sort of anxiety attack of emotions. And I couldn't handle it, and now I've made it impossible to connect with people. I have taken myself out of the equation with my verbose attitude. And it only took one day. Yeah, this was yesterday, by the way. So if you're questioning as far as why it's taking so long, it's because it just happened. I am horrendously in a state of angst, frustration, pain, and just not feeling good. You know, I told you I was probably crying for the better half of an hour not too long ago. I got over it, and I'm happy to be here and be a part of all that's going on and what's happening. I'm thankful, I'm grateful. But wow, I've been thrown off. Definitely been thrown off today. And I'm glad it happened today. I prayed yesterday. I told you this at the very beginning. I prayed yesterday. Guess what I prayed? I prayed that, well, a part of it was trying to relinquish the power that certain chemicals, certain habits have over my life, right? And I just don't know how to stop the bad habits so I can bring in some new good habits. But I haven't been able to produce, and I don't know how to do it on my own, so I asked to just rip the Band-Aid off. I remember that being one of my statements. I asked, I just kind of cried out and hoped that something would just happen that could allow for a bit of change or, surprise. It does take you by surprise when something profound happens. It's supposed to catch you off guard. And so as far as like the program that I've been involved with, we've gotten accustomed to this trip, fall, stumble, and then rebuild or stand up again, right? It sounds kind of rough, but tripping is actually still a positive part where life is good, but eventually, you do fall, something happens. Life may be like good things may be happening, but it's only a matter of time when, look at that hole. You see that hole? It's only a matter of time before something profound happens that not throws you off guard, as in like, it's the worst thing and you can't predict it. All right. So that is a knot, by the way. Now I'm just going to place you like that. It's so wet. It's so wet. This whole block of wood is wet. You see this? I'll put this in the fire like this. Can't even see it. There you go. Wind's picking up just a smidge. So, yeah, I threw myself off the cliff when I created this vision of, obviously, I want to say, yeah, but under the influence. I created this vision of the influence. I have to make peace with it. It is how it happened, plain and simple. So I started using again once I started meeting positive people. It was really easy. It was just a bad decision. There's not much of a profound story to it, but essentially I fell off the wagon and I couldn't handle it because of the stress and anxiety of simply meeting new, good, quality people. I couldn't handle the deep connections, the soulful, insightful, deep-rooted connections where people actually ask you questions about who you are and what you want to do and how you've become who you are. And it's like, it threw me off guard and it hurt. And now I'm just wrestling with a rebound because of the mere fact that I failed inevitably at falling off the wagon and reverting to old ways and trying to create connections, so to speak, under the influence. So when I say under the influence, I mean even when I'm sober, there's still a half cycle, right? There's a half cycle with caffeine and coffee, just like there's a half cycle with every other drug. There's a half cycle whether I wanted to, I broke away at times. I'm not always using, but I am now. I'm pretty much, not all the time. It is a nightly routine. It's become the nightly norm again. And that's not in a bad way. It's still very early. It's still controllable, quite honestly. But I'm realizing that it's I know it's not useful, but it must have been a part of it. It must have been. At least I'm going to label it that way. I'm going to label it that way, just because I need some sort of scapegoat. I need something to. I forgot that psychological term. Gosh dang it! It's not even a real term. Not blackmailing or something where you're spawning off you're not taking ownership. I'm not taking ownership of the simple fact that I just am not ready to go all in with life. And that means, I don't want to say and that means because it's a long answer there, but essentially maybe I'm just not ready. I keep on praying that I don't think I'm worthy. I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I'm able to on my own. So put me in the company of those that are able to assist, right? And whatever vision or outcome or production that God would have for me, the universe. And as far as the Creator goes, let's go back to, I don't think I'm in charge, even if I'm dead and realize that I am a piece of God, which I do somewhat believe. A piece in a way where it's not the end. It's so big that there's another life. There's a whole new life. whole new. So I created this vision. Once I started meeting these people, I created this vision of exactly what I wanted. There's a beautiful flame. Hold up. Check this out. Can we see that? Right in there? Can you see that? I'm not looking. Yeah, it's in there. Almost center. Right? Looking right at us. So, I created this vision because I was obviously under the influence and I couldn't handle myself in front of a group of people. I started using and utilizing those around me to, I would have to say that's how it works because, if it were accurate, then in the idea of God knowing but not messing with free will, it would still be happening. It being the vision that I was going off of, but it wasn't the proper vision. It was not. It was under the influence. It was improper. It was immoral. It was for my pleasures. It was for my selfish reasonings as usual, and I am suffering for it. So now I have to cut all cords and restart and do this all over again. So by all means, I'm ready. Make these my prayer request videos. Make these my prayers or my just coming to terms, talking to myself. I don't know. I don't even know what to call these vlogs anymore. But it's got to be known that. I mean, I just finished my prayer before all these videos and before this fire. I was on fire inside, folks. I was just having a meltdown. Yeah, obviously it hurt. So yeah, I didn't even tell you guys I got fired today. Right? I got fired today. I got to the point where I made a vision where I could have a winter job, working with obviously the snow removal company that I've been working with for years, in correspondence with working at the local butcher shop. And I landed the job and I started working there last week, and all was well. Everything is great and everything was great. I got to know good people, and sorry I haven't made the transition yet as far as current and past, but yeah, it is in the past now. I got to know good people, and for a moment, I just felt so released. I felt so myself. I did, and and it wasn't, and that's the thing. I'm coming to the realization. Let's just turn the page real quick. That myself is not helpful. At least the self that like I said, like I'm in a sober state at work. Like I have no choice when I'm around certain people. I can't be doing that stuff. It's for night. It's for sleepy time. It really is. It's like I can't fall asleep because of the terrors, the night terrors, and the visions, and the post-traumatic stress. It's that simple. Like those who use are usually suffering from post-traumatic stress. It's not that fucking hard. Like it's just too much for some people, and it got too much for me at one point, and I started using again, and now I'm still using. I'm ready to turn over a leaf. It killed me. I failed. Made bad decisions. Now it's time to start clean and try again. Pick yourself up and try again. Man, thought that was a bird chirping, but I'm pretty sure that's the sound of the fire whizzing. If you hear that, it sounds like a little dying bird. You hear that? Yeah, right there. You hear that? Yeah, that's got to be the fire. I'm pretty sure that's the fire. It's happening right in front of us. You couldn't hear that. It was a dying bird out in the wood. Anyway, yeah, so I'm just going through the emotions, processing. This is my way of processing. I should be massaging probably. I got out a good cry, but it's obviously necessary. I just feel like a failure, and I feel sorry for people, and blah, blah, blah. Sad to say that I ruined it so quickly, but a good lesson. I think I can move on from this and at least try and express vocally. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult. I'm trying to vocalize it, and when I do things on camera, it is like I'm actually like kind of writing it down in a way. I wish things were just recorded. A piece of technology that's not happened yet, but what is, but it's just not like I want it connected to me, but obviously I don't want to be a part of the system, so it's not going to be possible for me eventually. But if I say something, I want it actually written down, right? So I have so many thoughts that not so many thoughts, like I can't, it's like more than others, but this idea of ADD or ADHD, I just need things organized, right? It's not that hard to grasp the concept there, but I need to actually organize things quickly. And what I want to do is actually say it and then have it written down on the spot. So even if I'm driving, I want things written down as I say things. When I have these moments where I just want to talk and spitball and just have things said, I do want them written down and recorded somehow. That's what I hope these messages get across. I have one more beer for you folks. That's what we're about to give into now. Just gonna grab it, find there's always a bottle opener around here. Pretty good sized mug, original 25 cents at the local. I'm pretty sure I'm about to use my axe. It's the closest thing to me. It's right next to me. Can I do this? Yeah. Bottle. Axe. Ready? Where is it? I can't see it. Oh, too easy, man. Too easy, man. That thing's good. Perfect. That's beautiful, man. Oh, I think it's the first time. So. Coming in hot. Dragon's Milk. Dragon's Milk came out with a new one, folks. I can't even see it, folks. All right. Dragon's Milk Reserve oatmeal cookie. Bourbon barrel aged, as you all know, coming in at 11. Bourbon barrel oatmeal cookie, man. Lettering way too small to read. Oh, man, there is lettering. There's a nice one. I can't see it. We'll have to do it later. I'm just going to go ahead and dump that in. Let her settle. All right, so the bottle smells way more, I guess you could say cookie, but way more, damn it. And I would never use the term doughy either, but it's wheaty. There it is, right? But it's wheaten like butter. It's not butter, obviously, but it's wheat and wheat and sweet fat. So you get the sugar. Oh, you get a nice, do you get a lemon in there? There might be a dash of lemon. But there's still like chocolate nibs in there and dough. I know I wouldn't say that if I didn't know it was oatmeal. But it tastes very, yeah. And I don't want to use wheaty because that's a whole new classification for me. Wheat and dough are two way. There it is. So yeah, this is like wheat and butter. Oh, it smells so much more, not so much more aged, but it does have a heavier caramel. There it is. A heavier caramel scent to it, which gives way to cocoa, right? All right, we're just going to go ahead and dive in here. Look at that flame on. Oh. Oh, yes. Woo. So, the bourbon barrel starts off, but it's not a heavy, it's not a smack you in the back of the throat or even on the tongue bourbon barrel, but you taste a nice aged smoky flavor the very instant you drink it. Swishing it around, you get more of a bite, but it comes in with the creamy cocoa vanilla taste. Yeah. Wow, these are good. These are smooth. These are good. They have a good, this is like 50 bite. It's probably even, I hope it might not even be more than 50 bite, even though it's a bourbon barrel, which seems rare. But that's my third sip. Whew. So obviously it doesn't last I don't want to say it doesn't last long. The flavor lasts, but it's very good. Ooh, I like it. Very nicely done, fellas. So yeah, coming in, Dragon's Milk, always on top of it. We're looking at an hour. Good job. I'm not even sure this is going to be stored. So yeah, just to wrap things up, I got let go because I was quote unquote verbose and had a very boisterous attitude for a day. And during that day, quite honestly, I'm not going to be able to retrace anything that says anything poked out as special or different. Quite honestly, I may have, let's say, the half-life of leftovers, and I don't think I drank the day before. I don't think I did. I did have a good day. I felt like I had a good day because I suppose, and it's funny because that night, I don't mean to throw it off guard again, but that night I actually prayed beyond praying. What did I say I prayed for before? So one of the prayer requests, which I'll say is what I'm talking about now, is listening more, following directions, and that was actually one of the reasons as far as letting go. But I fail to adhere to instructions, and that does happen with me at times. I'm a very relentless, against the grain, try and put my twist on things at times, sort of character. And I've worked in many restaurants before, and I at times, it was only a week that I worked there, but I did do my best to listen, but I do have a character, and when I the restaurant to me is a very great place to be in. I love the restaurant. I've said this. You all know, you should know me by now. The character is easy. I love the kitchen. I do. And when I get into my kitchen attitude, it can be quite the character, and that character being quite verbose. And I understand that, and it's not helpful, useful in the intros of starting a new place. And yeah, I've failed. I did. I really did. I fucked it up, and um, I know I'm sorry. I've said it too many times already. I just don't know how to do it on, like who cares what's said on camera? Like, this is just a recording of nothing. But I yeah, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for the people around. I this is yeah. These vlogs are very personal, and I don't get very vulnerable at times, but man, the thoughts that have gone through my head recently, I don't bust out the camera too often anymore, but and especially under the influence. But man, has this hit home? This has certainly hit home, and I'm ready for the change. I'm ready to do it now, because I certainly don't want to wait for winter. That's the last thing I want to do, and I'm glad last night, like I said, yeah. So I prayed for something to happen. I last night prayed that something profound would happen. Just rip the Band-Aid off, is what I said before. I knew something was going to happen. I've been tripping lately. I've been having so much fun. I've been doing so well. I did everything that I thought I would do. The problem was, it wasn't God's fucking plan. Oh no, it's not. It wasn't God's plan. I tried. Maybe I tried to just push it on too hard, And I'm having a blast. I did. I really had a blast, and I fucked it up because, yeah, maybe impatient and overly assertive, just slightly aggressive. Not with everybody. If you know me, you know that me and the female interaction is not always the greatest. But I gotta be honest, in that realm, I don't know what to do. I'm helpless. I have to make a medical. It has to be an emergency, and the circumstance that I was produced with, I what I was reading was tears of joy, like, haha, but this sucks, but it's just an accident. And I don't mean to have to put this on camera now, but I just reliving it the way I experienced it. I was in a pretty playful attitude, quite honestly. Nobody's wrong. I'm taking this one straight to the grave. I certainly will say that I was in a relatively positive, not boastful, but boisterous attitude, or at least character, and it happened to backfire just a little bit. It's not like nobody's in the hospital or anything, and everything's okay. But I have a tendency to, wow, look at all the ash. There's so much ash in there. It's huge. It's so big. Like, oh, whole log down there. Oof. Ooh, nice. I've been nice if we could get... All right, that's the other half. So yeah, nobody got hurt or anything, but, well, yeah, somebody did. It doesn't matter. The story doesn't matter, but it's like, you know, I'm sorry. It's like, I suppose I'm saying it because it's like, yeah, get it on record that man, I wish nobody got hurt. So, yeah, that's basically the whole concept. I fudged up and we learn. Sadly, my mentality is I'm going to learn to not be myself anymore, but I know that's not necessarily the right mind frame to go about everything. The problem is it's going to rain tonight. I was going to sleep outside, but I legit just remembered that it's going to rain. Which sucks because we got a beautiful fire going. Oh. Um. These things are so big. The logs are wet. I need a light, but you're my only source of light, and I can't use you because I'm filming. I don't really know what else to tell you. I've given you my deepest, darkest for the night. The storm is coming. I've got a few more logs I can put on here. I'm surprised it's not just ablazed. These are all the newer logs. Newer meaning, I can't even say freshest, because if I were smart, I'd know the difference between you know, what's worthy for a fire pit or not. I gotta cut this one just once. This one's big. And I need a few more things. Why is there always a knot? There seriously is a knot. Oh, you guys are still going. Well, good night for now.